Bitcoin and Litecoin, are we still looking for new all-time highs this year? In my opinion, yes, we are, and we'll take a look at that here in this video. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. Hope everybody's having a fabulous Thursday. We're going to take a look at the charts. As always, we're going to start out with Litecoin, then we're going to move on to Bitcoin, take a look at where we're at, where we might be headed, and then we're going to take a look at my favorite charts, the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart, see where we're at on that. And yeah, should be a good episode. Don't forget, we have a 100% free Discord group, guys. There's people in there all the time. It's in the description below the video. Definitely check it out if you haven't. It's an awesome community. Bunch of great people in there. There's always somebody in there, and there's a lot of knowledge in there. So definitely check it out. Also, there's some affiliate links down below too. Check them out. It helps the channel out if you do, guys. Let's get on with the video. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind, it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. And with that being said, if you're new here, you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell. That'll get you notified when I post new videos, as I do post every day, and I do live streams a couple times a week. That way you get notified as long as you tick the bell. So don't forget to give a giant thumbs up, guys, and leave your comments. Let me know what you think of the video. Helps the video out, helps the YouTube algorithm. Appreciate it. Let's look at the charts. Nothing has changed in my opinion here, guys. Still looking at this as a, and I'll shorten this up so it's easier. Still looking at this as a cup and a handle with a target of 180. We could be forming a bigger cup and handle here. And just for shits and giggles, I am going to do a measured move off of that and bring it down to the bottom. And we would take the measured move up to, if we were to come back up here and break through, we're looking at around the 270 range. So I'm going to go ahead and put a target there. And this one is not, not definite. I'm still pretty definite on the 180, which we'll take a look at here in a second. But yeah, this could be definitely an area to watch. So I am going to put a target there. I'm going to thin this line out, get it out of the way. Sorry, I should have had this prepared, but I'm very unprepared this morning. So anyways, this is the cup and handle we were looking at here, this being the handle, and the neckline around 100, and the breakout is 180. Still looking for 180, guys. That has not changed for me. And for those of you that are new, the way I trade, I hold all my Litecoin, I hold all my Bitcoin. I have a cash trading account that I use to leverage trade Bitcoin, and I use my profits to buy more Bitcoin and Litecoin. So yeah, that's the safest way if you ask me. I use low leverage too, 5 times leverage. I don't go crazy gambling and all that. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So you guys know, a lot of people ask me that, even though I mention it all the time. I just want to get that out there. So we were looking at this rising broadening wedge in the yellow, and our target of the breakout of that from 180 would be around the 302 range. Now, another thing I want to look at now, because I have drawn this new trend line in right here, this white one, and I don't believe we're going to break that, guys, even though I do still have a target at 88, which is at the 200 EMA here on the bearish case scenario. But I want to make another target here and just see how this lines up, using this as the white line as the bottom of the broadening wedge, and the yellow line as the top. And the breakout would be, yeah, somewhere around the 260 range, real close to this target. So that is looking pretty juicy to me. So anyways, all right, let's get on to the rest of the video. Those are my high targets, guys. The 180, obviously my target for the cup and handle. And this came back to test the neckline. We wicked below it, but I do believe, that's still valid. It didn't invalidate it at all. So those of you getting paranoid, no guarantees. Obviously, this is my opinion, but I don't believe we're going to go much lower at all, if any lower in Litecoin. Great time to buy if you ask me, just like my shirt. Buy the fear, man. Anyways, I know a lot of people are getting super bearish. I am not getting bearish at all. So let's look at the RSI and the daily. All right, so we were following this rising channel. We broke out of it in a falling channel. We are peaking below it just a little bit here in the daily, but again, it's a daily. We could pop right back in. So I am not concerned about that at all. Let's go into the 4 hour. All right, so in the 4 hour, we had this falling channel. We had a falling wedge within it, broke out of that into a falling channel, into another, into another, into another. And I had these trend lines drawn here as a, you know, symmetrical triangle forming here, which we've broken out of. And if we did a measured move off that triangle, it would bring us back down to the bottom of this falling channel here, which is definitely possible. But this is the RSI, not the price, guys, so don't get paranoid. Let's look at it up against the price now. I do have some other targets in here we'll take a look at. But right now, I want to see what this looks like. Okay, so if we were to go down and hit the bottom of this channel down here, that would be obviously very low on the RSI in the 4 hour. But it is possible, and it'll probably be most likely testing the bottom of this channel. If you're watching my live stream last night, we drew this channel in with the yellow line being resistance and the bottom one being support. I'm going to get rid of this triangle line here and get that out of our way now. Try to clean up the chart just a little bit. All right, but we had this $100 target. We wicked through it, came back up. I do believe it's still possible we come back down for one more touch here. Probably, you know, if we streamed out and took a couple days, you know, the 87 range. But guys, I don't believe it's going to be that far off. So I'm going to go ahead and put the target right around the, actually, I'm going to go up a little bit higher because I don't believe we're going to break that white trend line. Whoops. And I just moved it. Let me back that up a little bit. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is going to be my target here, guys. Around the $94 range, if we do continue down, which it does look like this is going to do another leg down, which should match up pretty good with what we got going on here. So still looking like, even if we drop down here, this is still bullish divergence where we're getting lower lows in the price, higher lows in the RSI. Although this, if it does come down here, we're going to be getting lower low. So either way, I do see probably coming down for a touch here. But again, guys, not guaranteed. We could move up from here. So let's look at the price action and take a look at both scenarios. All right, so we had this marked yesterday at the 115. And I said if that broke, we were going down to the 100, and that's what we did. Obviously, we wicked past it a little bit. But I am looking at this, you know, $92 to $94 range here if we do get this leg down. But I don't see it going much further than that, guys. If we break this white trend line hard, then, you know, we're looking at possibly as low as the $60 range, $61, which is old resistance right here. But I don't know. That's a pretty big drop, guys. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. This trend line here, I drew off of these peaks here. And like I said, we probably get another test down here before our continued move up. This rising broadening wedge in the blue here now is pretty much invalidated because of this drop, but I think this trend line is still going to be resistance when we head up here. Not to say it's going to hold us back, but we could get some resistance off it. So I'm going to leave it there for now. We'll take it away later. Now, my measured move, as you can see up here, I have a measured move around 147, 148 range. And that all depends on where we break out of this falling channel. But I do have the breakout lined up with the bottom of this old rising broadening wedge and the top of our channel. And that brings me right up. Actually, it's a little bit higher than that. So let's go up here. Brings me right up to around the 140. 148, 149 range. That is my target for the breakout of this falling channel here. We'll probably get some sideways action if we don't drop down to that 94 area and, you know, come up into this zone, and we will take a look. Obviously, depending on where we break out, this could change, guys, so keep that in mind. You know, if we break out down in this area, it's just going to be retesting the same resistance of our yearly high this year at the 146 level. So keep that in mind, and we'll watch where this does end up breaking out, which I do believe it's gonna. And then obviously there's my 180 target, and I have some more measured moves other than our larger ones that we looked at in the beginning. And this first one here, the 218 would be, let's see, actually, if we broke out at this 180 area, which we're gonna have a pretty big push up, but I mean, if you look at how we've reacted to all this before, definitely possible. I still see it going up there, but I don't know where my other target trends are. But anyway, if we were to break up, looking at this as a rising broadening wedge, we're looking at 235 area. I'm going to get rid of this 218 because this does look like a rising broadening wedge here that we've kind of, I believe this is more of a bear trap, guys, and we're going to continue up from here. But like I said, I do look for a possible move down to the 94 area before getting a significant bounce. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. There's my targets. I do believe we'll hit these by the end of the year. And as you guys know, my Bitcoin target for the end of the year is 46,000. That hasn't changed at all. And we'll look at that at the end of the video, and I'll show you right after Bitcoin. But I do believe if we hit 46,000 by the end of the year with Bitcoin, Litecoin is going to be somewhere in the range of $600 to $1,000. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Let's look at the daily on Bitcoin. All right, so you can see my targets here. We're still parabolic, guys. All you got to do is go over to the weekly chart. Nothing has changed. The parabola is not broken. I mean, this thing is still bullish as hell. People are getting bearish as hell. You know, good. Short it, guys, so we can squeeze your shorts. Anyways, all right, so let's take a look at, well, first of all, I'm sorry, let's go back to the daily chart. I have these targets in here, which we'll look at in a little bit with the 4 hour. But first, I want to look at this as a measured move off of this channel. If we were to break out at our 14.7 area on this rising trend line here, which I have drawn off from these peaks here. So if we were to break up from there, my target would be 18, around the 18.3 area. And if I look at this resistance up here and this support down here, the measured move would get us to the $20,000 range. Now my big target is obviously the 25,000, and that is if we broke out in that area. And remember, guys, depending on where we break out of this top line, these targets change. So if we were to break out, you know, around the 14.7, my target off that is 25,000, and then, you know, we could come back down, retest the top of this, and continue up from there. But we'll keep an eye on it as it plays out. That's why I do daily videos, and you know, we'll keep an eye on where this trend line breaks. I do believe it's gonna break. Just a matter of time, guys. Let's look at the daily RSI. So on daily RSI, you can see I drew another wedge in here. It's looking pretty positive, guys, that we're gonna pop up out of this. As you can see, we had the rising channel here, the falling channel to come out of it, broke back up into the rising channel. Now we're in a falling wedge. And if we took a measured move off target of this falling wedge, and again, guys, this is on the RSI, and if we broke out in here, looks like we'd be coming up to test this yet again. This trend line we had here, which has been helping us call the tops before the corrections each time over here. This one, I believe we had it set at 13.6 and it went to 13.8. So we were pretty close. So anyways, let's go to the 4 hour real quick. All right. So as you can see, if you've been following along, you know what all this is. I'm not going to go over it. We had a trend line off these two peaks here, coming down this trend line, which we popped out of, came back down, tested it, got support, moved back up, and it looked like we were forming a rising broadening wedge, which we've broken down from. And on the more bearish case scenario, guys, we would take a measured move of this broadening wedge and to where it broke down, and we would be possibly coming back down here to test this. Doesn't mean it's going to be a huge move in the price action, guys. We'll take a look at that, but it is possible that this continues down to retest the top of this line right here. Let's look at the price action, see how that's looking, and we'll talk a little bit about what we were looking at yesterday. If you were in the live stream, and we've been watching this for about 4 or 5 days now, but I had this rising or this falling broadening wedge in here, and we had a measured move off of that up to the 14.7 range. Now we have other measured moves in here. Let's take a look at the bearish scenario, guys. If this trend line here breaks and then this one breaks, this is the target I had. This actually could move up now. Let's move it up to around the 11,000 range. And keep in mind, if this does break, guys, we would look for support here at the 10.5, between 10.5 and 10.6, which is the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. Again, I believe we're going to hold this trend line, guys. If we don't, like I said, I'd be looking at 10.5, 10.6, and then the next area to watch would be the $9,500 range. And if that was the break, guys, that would be retesting. Oh, dang it. That would be retesting the top of this rising broadening wedge that we popped out of here. Worst case scenario, guys, is right there, I believe. But again, I don't see it. This is held up pretty well. Let's zoom in a little bit. And if we look at where I said yesterday in the live stream that I was looking for this trend line to hold, and it was at 11.5, 11.8, and I said if we went down, I was looking at like the 10.9, I believe it was. But obviously, we never closed a candle before that, a 4 hour candle, so that's a definite good sign. We are getting resistance at the 55 EMA right now. So I showed you that in the RSI right here that we could have another move down to test this. That'd probably get us to the 11,000 range. So that's definitely possible. Keep that in mind. Now let's look at the more bullish case scenario. And like I said, we were watching this falling broadening wedge, and if we did the measured move off that is 14.7. Now I'm kind of looking at, invalidating this and getting that line out of there and just going off of this bull flag here. And if we look at the measured move of that would be measuring the flag pull here, and then a breakout of the and then a breakout of the flag, and that gets us up to the $14,000 range. Still valid, my opinion, guys. When a triangle breaks out, it usually comes back down to test the top of the triangle for support, and that looks like exactly what it did here. Again, this could extend out. We could still come test this 11,000, but as you can see, we got support off the top of this triangle, so we could possibly just continue up from here. But like I said, in the RSI, it does look like, we might get up to test the 12,000, somewhere in there, and then come back down to 11,000. It is possible. Keep it in mind. But my targets now still remain the same. This 14.7, not so much, but the 14.3 and the 14, I'm still looking at. And the 14.3 target, let me move this out of the way real quick. The 14.3 target is the measured move out of this falling wedge, guys, which we broke out of over here, and that gets us to the 14.3. So right now, 1,400 or 14,000 and 14,300 to 14,400. are my main targets. This one's still definitely possible, guys. If we met this at the top of this trend line, it would be way over here towards the end of July. Yeah, but I do see us coming to at least the 14,000, 14.3. Like I said, I understand everybody's getting extremely bearish, but if you keep an eye on the charts, there's really nothing to get too bearish about, guys. Yeah, we really haven't, I don't count this as making a lower high, because I do believe we're going to come up and make a higher high. And obviously, we've just been making higher lows. So, again, no worries for me at all. Them are my targets as of right now. I'm going to still set this back down here, although I do think that pretty much invalidated, but we haven't closed a 4-hour candle below it. So, take that for what you will. Let's go into the Bitcoin daily. And I have another thing I'm going to look at too, which when this is all done, definitely stick around to check it out. Again, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and leave your comments after the video. Let me know what you think is going on. So we're going to look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart. We've been watching forever. My target for the end of the year, 46 to 47,000. If you haven't seen this, I'll show you why in a second. But guys, unless this trend line breaks, and it's got to break hard. We got to close a daily below it or something before I even get a little bit worried. It's still playing out beautifully compared to the gold chart. It's just amazing. A pattern is a pattern, guys, and I'll show you that. I'm going to show you that in this, how a pattern is a pattern, no matter what time frame. It doesn't matter. A pattern's a pattern, and this pattern is playing out absolutely beautifully. And no, not every candle is going to be the same. We are looking at a weekly pattern here versus a daily pattern, but it's the same damn pattern. One thing I want to talk about real quick is, if you look at this as a triangle here, this is like a false breakout of a triangle, guys, where we had our capitulation. Also, I want you guys to realize we had 2 touches on this bottom trend line before moving up. Same thing in gold, guys. I don't know how else to explain it. This thing, I am pretty damn confident that this is going to play out. I can't stress it enough. I'm not worried unless this trend line gets broken broken hard. Like I said, a daily close below it, open and close below it before I'd consider this invalid. Yeah. So let's look at the gold. Same thing, the gold played around this line, and I've drawn it from these supports from the bear market, and I did the same thing from these supports in the bear market of Bitcoin. That's where that comes up. I do have this blue line drawn in here where you see gold got resistance, and I drew it in. And again, guys, this isn't going to be exact, but this is around the 24,000 range, between 24 and 25,000. But we'll adjust once it gets up and we get our resistance, and then we'll go from there, because I do believe this is going to play out. Now, something I want to talk about is a triangle false breakout. Here's an example one here where it broke to the downside and then just shot right back up. And like I pointed out over here, that's pretty much what gold did in this big triangle here, and pretty much what Bitcoin did. And when it does that, it usually goes to new higher highs. So another thing I want to take a look at, this is the macro chart, guys. Look at all the triangles in it. This is the Bitcoin versus the dollar and Bitstamp, all the way from the end of 2011, middle of 2011. But you can see all the triangles and what happens after them. The bigger the triangle. But this one, you see, was a fake out, came up and went back down, but obviously it didn't come up very far. People always want to compare the cycles. So if you want to compare it to one, compare it to this bull run. We had the drop, and I'm going to zoom into these real quick so you can see. These are those fake drops, fake out, come back up, new all-time highs. This one did a fake out. It depends on how you draw this one. This could be drawn as a wedge, I suppose. This one's a little odd. This was the 2013 bull market. I'm going to take a look at the RSI in the daily Bitcoin too and show you why I believe we are in for some serious uptrend. But anyways, you can see here's another triangle with a false, drop, come back up and just continued up. Another one here. These are in small, obviously a lot smaller, but it broke down to the bottom of this triangle, up, new all-time highs. Same here, had a triangle here, broke down, up to new all-time highs. And I believe we're getting the same thing here, guys, just in a way more macro view. So I still believe this is going to be a huge move up to at least the $46,000 to $47,000 range, which would get us in here. Draw that in and kind of zoom out, see what it would look like. And again, this is the log chart, guys. So let me brush, thick line, and yeah, so something like this. Well, that's 50,000. Let me back up a little bit. Something like this. Might get a big correction before continuing up to our $46,000 range. Now let's zoom out, see what that would look like on the chart. Actually, it would look pretty good, guys. So that's where I'm at with it. I believe that's where we're headed. I do want to take a look at the weekly RSI and the monthly RSI in Bitcoin and show you guys the similarities of the last bear bull market to this one. So 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. We have this trend line in here, same trend line at 2017 bull market. We had 2 touches of resistance before resuming a bull trend. Same thing in 2017 bull market followed by the 18 bear market. 2 touches of resistance on this trend line before starting the bull market. Let's go on to monthly. And I have these 2 arcs drawn in here. This is 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows represents a new low in the RSI. There was 4 of them before the bull market began. 2017 bull market followed by the 18 bear market. Each arrow represents a new low in the RSI. There was 4 of them. The only thing I think is going to be different, guys, is this is going to be a much quicker, much harder move. This arc's probably going to end up being more something like that. But yeah, if we look at go back over here and look at this, like this one here was a short bear market, and then boom, another new all-time high. I believe that's more like what we're going to see here. People are comparing it to this, the 2013-15 in the price action. I don't believe this one's going to be anything like that. I do believe we're going to continue up, and it's going to look more like this one here. So that's my opinion and my view, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head to get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. And I will see you tomorrow. If not tonight, we'll see how. If something crazy goes on tonight, I might do a live stream. But if not, I'll see you in the morning. And take care. Take it easy. Be careful. And I'm out.